The WNBA was supposed to be on the after all this was a year. Everything was post-click, new fans, new stars, record-breaking coverage, a cultural moment in the making. The stage was set, the lights were on. The league had its chosen one in Caitlin Clark, the most hyped rookie in league history. He eyes the world. We're finally paying attention, and now we're staring at empty seat, vanishing viewership, and a league-wide identity crisis that's spinning out of control. If you're here for the real story and not filtered version, subscribe. And if you're sticking around for the next meltdown, you better only subscribe. This isn't as a ratings dip, it's a full-blown disaster. Let's be honest, nobody expected a fairy tale. But this is looking more like a post-apocalyptic wasteland than a fairy tale ending. Attendance is tanking, TV ratings are nosediving, fans are tuning out in droves, and social media, a once-a-W secret weapon, is flooded with frustration, sarcasm, and open-ended questions about whether the league can even survive his nosedive. The honeymoon phase is over, and a wake call is ugly. So how do we get here? Where did the momentum go? Why are fans abandoned ship? Months after being promised golden era of women's basketball, well, buckling. Because this is about one bad game or a couple bad calls. This is about systemic failure. The league that got handed the spotlight and immediately fumbled the bag, and at the center of and all a broken product, a star player in bandages and leadership that seems more interested in optics than actual solutions. Let's start with the obvious: Caitlin Clark's injury. What do you love her, hate her, or pretend not to care? There's no denying it. Clark was a show. Her arrival single-handedly juiced ticket sales, TV numbers, merch sales, and online buzz. She was the engine powering the WNBA, his biggest media wave in decades. And when that engine sputtered, so did everything else. Clark going down wasn't as a hit Indiana, it was a gut punch to the league's momentum. Suddenly, the girl they bet the house on wasn't on a court. And guess what? When she's not playing, people aren't watching, people aren't showing up, and worst of all, people are losing interest. You can almost hear the sponsors tiptoeing backward. The bigger problem isn't even that Clark got injured, is that everyone saw it coming. She's taken more hits than a tackling dummy, and the refs, half the time, they just let it happen. Cheap shot, flagrant fouls showed a checks off the ball. Fans and analysts were literally begging to lead the protected stars, and instead the league twiddled its thumbs. Well, one most valuable players and WNBA history got bruised into oblivion. That's not just mismanagement, that's neglect. You don't build a brand around your stars only to leave them exposed. You don't celebrate their presence in press releases while watching them get tossed around like practice cones during the actual games. But that's exactly what happened, and now the damage is done. Clark's absence exposed the truth. The league wasn't ready to admit they don't have a plan B. They bet everything on one player, and when she went down, the entire house of cards folded. But let's be real, this goes beyond Clark, because even before injury, the cracks were all right. Showing the officiating has been atrocious, wildly inconsistent, sometimes borderline unwatchable. Missed calls, phantom whistles, obvious foul going uncalled. Is like every game has its own rule book. Fans don't know what's legal anymore. Players don't either. And when the people on a court are confused, you better believe the people watching at home or checking out. This isn't basketball, it's chaos, and the league's leadership nowhere be found. Commissioner Kathy Engelbert has become the face of denial. Her public comments are like corporate fortune cookies, vague, hopeful, and completely disconnected from reality fans are experiencing. It's all grow in the game and strategic progress, while as or half empty, and fans are tweeting pictures of rows and rows of empty seats. At what point do you stop calling it a transition phase and admitted to meltdown? Because make no mistake, the fans are done. They're not just unhappy, they're disengaging. Loyalty only goes so far when the product on the court, it doesn't match the hype. When your stars are injured, your games are inconsistent, and your marking feels like is being run by interns with a camera count. What reason do fans have to stick around? And before someone yells massage any as a blanket excuse, let's get one thing straight. This isn't a gender issue. This is a product issue. People showed up. People were excited. The eyeballs were there. The league had more momentum than had in decades, and they blew it. No storytelling, no cohesive branding, no sense of urgency when things started slipping. Instead, what are we get? Gimmicky press releases, empty marketing buzzwords, and a weird obsession with protecting the narrative at all costs, even when the numbers were plummeting. Oh yeah, let's talk about those numbers, because for weeks we were fed a steady diet of record-breaking viewership and sellout crowd, and to reality smacked back with cold hard truth. The so-called sellouts Mostly comp tickets and giveaways. The viewership spikes tied directly to Clark's presence when she wasn't playing. Ratings tank full stop. And that brings us to the most frustrating truth of all. The WNBA had a golden opportunity, and they wasted it instead of locking in new fans of the top-tier product. They served up chaos instead of investing in better officiating, smarter schedules, and long-term storytelling. They bet on a short-term PR high. They chase headlines, not loyalty. And now they're paying for it. The energy in a fan base has shifted. You can feel it. You can read it in every rare edit thread, every disappointed tweet, every season ticket holder asking themselves if it's even worth it anymore. The vibe isn't we're frustrated, but hopeful. It's we gave you a chance and you blew it. And the worst part, there's still people inside the league acting like everything's fine, like this is just a normal fluctuation as of the rapidly disappearing interest isn't a 5-alarm fire. But here's the thing about fire, if you ignore it long enough, it doesn't just burn the kitchen. It burns a whole house down. That's where the WNBA is headed. If something doesn't change fast, they need reforms, real ones, not surface-level PR gestures, not hashtags, not documentaries about the future of the game. We're talking actual solutions. Fix the officiating, immediately protect your stars like your lead depends on them, because it does. Hire marketing teams who understand storytelling and digital engagement. Stop pretending everything is fine when fans are literally walking out mid-game. And for the love of basketball, stop gas of the audience with fake stats. People are smarter than that. They want honesty, they want transparency, and most of all, they want a league worth investing in, because right now the WNBA feels like a startup that raised $1 billion and still somehow forgot to build the app. And let's be clear, we're now rooting for failure. Far from it. This isn't gleeful criticism. This is desperate criticism, because the potential is still there. The players are insanely talented. The fan base wants to be loyal. The storylines are there for the taking. But unless someone grabs the wheel and steers as are the ditch, we're looked back on the seat. And not as a growing pain, but as a death rattle. So to the league, you still got time, not much, but enough. Fix this. To the fans, how do you feel watching all of this unfold? Do you believe the WNBA can bounce back from this disaster, or the trust already broken beyond repair? Let's talk about it in the comments. And if you are more breakdown to PR disasters, star player chaos, and league-wide meltdowns, you already know what to do, because the WNBA might be losing viewers. But this drama, it's just getting started. The fans are not mad anymore. They're bored, and bored fans as scary as kind. Because once people stop caring, once they stop arguing on Twitter, canceling subscriptions and complaining in comment sections, that's when the lights go out. Let's talk about what actually looks like when league loses its audience. We're not just talking about them bad Nielsen ratings and a few awkward camera pans across empty seats. No, this is the mood shift. The cultural energy around a W. Via has flatlined. The excitement at a round of the season opener has turned into collective side-eye. That we're witnessing history vibe gone, replaced by silence, shrugs, worse indifference. You can feel it in the broadcast of the energy is weird. Even commentators sound like they're trying to sell enthusiasm. They don't believe in, like they're reading from a teleprompter written by someone in full denial. They keep saying things like growth year and rising interest while the stand behind him look like ghost towns, and you're just sitting there thinking, are we watching the same league? This was supposed to be the breakout out season, the one where everything changed. But instead of a renaissance, we're watching a slow, painful unraveling, and nobody seems willing to admit that the emperor has no viewers. And you know the wild part, the players are starting to notice. You can hear it in post-game interviews. The tone has shifted. We're in a game too. We don't know what's happening. There is confusion, frustration. You can feel the morale slipping, especially from veterans who spent years grinding for this league only to watch it spin itself in circles. Now that the cameras have finally arrived, they were promised more so with the fans. And then there's officiating, which we absolutely need to circle back to, because oh my god, what is even happening there? Every other game seems to feature a ref crew that either guessing or actively sabotage in product. It's not just bad, it's amateur. You got blown calls, inconsistent enforcement, refs answering themselves into the narrative light, and go viral. And somehow this keeps happening. You would think, hey, maybe we should train our officials better if this is the product we're trying to sell to the world. But instead the league just shrugs, says, it's part of game. No, what part of is the problem? You can't build credibility with refs that treat treaty professional league like a scrimmage at the YMCA, and you definitely can't build a fan base When the outcome of games feels random, people watch sports because they believe in structure, rules, drama. Yes, but within the bounds of fair play. If fans want to chaos, they watch reality TV. If they want to confusion, they've refreshed the WNBA's social media schedule, which is another disaster altogether. Seriously, who is running digital for this league? Because the marketing strategy feels like it's stuck in 2014. There's no consistent voice, no hook, no fan funnel, just random highlights, corporate graphics, and key. Asian will look at how powerful we are montage set to royalty-free music. Meanwhile, younger fans, the ones who should be driving the future of the sport, are being completely ignored. No memes, no clips were context, no jokes, no real personality, just boilerplate branding and tone-deaf hashtags. You want Gen Z and younger millennials to invest, give them something worth reacting to, give them moments, give them culture. The WB has all the raw material for it. Sartown drama, rivalries, underdog stories, but it's sitting on its lighter, forgotten hard drive. And then there's a league's obsession with defending the image instead of fixing the issues. Every time someone dares to criticize the WNBA, even constructively, the defenders jump out like they're guarding national secrets. Huge. Just hate women's sports, you're misinformed. It's massage any look. Sometimes that is the case, but not right now, this moment, this collapse. It's not about massage any, it's about management, execution, accountability. If you want to be taken seriously, you can't silence every complaint by slapping a hater label on it. You have to actually look in the mirror. Right now, the WNBA mirror is cracked, and no one wants to be the one to fix it. And let's not forget the wasted opportunity that the season represented. Caitlin Clark brought in a wave of tsunami. People who had never watched women's basketball in their lives tune in. Justice. See what the hype was about. People bought tickets, bought jerseys. They gave WNBA their time, their attention, and in some cases their money. And what did the league give them in return? Bad officiating, poor production, no cohesive marketing, and a star player they couldn't even protect from injury. It's like opening a brand new restaurant line around the block and then serving everyone cold soup and attitude. You get one chance to make a first impression, one, and right now millions of new viewers have made theirs, and guess what? A lot of them are not coming back. That's the part that'd scare the league the most. Not the empty arena, is not the TV numbers, not even the Twitter trolls, the silence, because the silence means apathy, and apathy the end. So what does the WNBA do now? Well, the first step is stop pretending everything is fine. It's not. No one's buying the sunshine and rainbows routine. Admit there's a problem, own it, and then actually do something. Here's what needs to happen. Fix the officiating. We said before, we'll say it again. Train your ref like they're representing a global product, because they are protect your stars. These are not just play. Where's their investments? You wouldn't leave your top-selling iPhone out in the rain. Treat your talent like the assets they are. Modernize your marketing. Get out of the PowerPoint era. Hire people who know how to speak internet. Tap into the actual culture. Don't is cosplay. Engage your critics, the honest ones, the ones who care. Not every complaint is hate. A lot of it is free consulting. Listen, tell real stories, not disempowerment slogans. Rivalries, comebacks, underdogs. Give fans something to root for besides logos and hashtags. Stop overpromising beyond his about what a league is. Let people watch it grow authentically, not through inflated press releases and cooked numbers. The WNBA can still turn this around. It really can, but as an act now, and not just with damage control, with vision. Because of this, league keeps posting on vibes and ignoring the warning sign, and is going to lose the only thing that matters in sports. Trust in the fans, trust from the players, trust from the sponsors. And once you lose that, it's game over. Yeah, you can blame bad officiating, you can blame injuries, you can even blame Caitlin Clark's absence as the tipping point. But the deeper, more uncomfortable reality is, this WNBA build a moment, not a movement, and moments, they fade fast. Movement require infrastructure, community strategy, a foundation that hold weight when the spotlight turns into scrutiny. The WNBA had none of that. Had instead. It was a trending window, a viral wave created by one transcending college player stepping into the big leagues, and instead of taking out window and using it to build something lasting, the lead tried to stretch the hype like it was elastic, and now snap the viewership that tripled overnight. Gone, the sold out arena's empty again. The new fans and subscribed lugged out, moved on, because the product never matched the pitch. People were told they were tuning in to watch revolution, and instead they got a slow motion implosion dressed up in slick graphics and empowerment slogans. Let's go deeper. Let's talk about what should have happened. Clerk's arrival, Shubin, the spark, that live a long burning fire, not a quick flash that fizzled out. It should have been beginning of a new standard for WNBA coverage. Every game should have felt like an event, not just hers. All of them players like Io Wilson, Brianna Stewart, I Go Gumbo, they should have been co-stars, and this new era not relegated side characters in the Caitlin Clark show. And yet, that's exactly what happened. The league and elevate everyone into everything behind one name, one storyline, one jersey. And what happens when you're one big star and on the court, you have nothing to fall back on? That's not Clark's fault. It's not even really the media's fault that on leadership a league with foresight would have made every player feel like a must-watch. A league vision would have taken a wave of attention and distributed across all teams like planting seeds. Really long-term growth. Instead, they poured all their water into one pot. And now they're shocked that the garden is dying. You know who else is feeling the effects? The players themselves. Let's be real, locker rooms around the league or 10th. Right now, jealousy, resentment, confusion. It's all bubbling just beneath the surface. With some players are frustrated that they're working just as hard, putting up real numbers, and yet getting zero media attention. Others are frustrated that their own fans are disappearing, while all the focus goes to one team. And can you blame them? Because here's the unspoken part of his collapse that no one wants to say out loud. The WNBA is divided now, just between teams, not just between players, between the old guard and the new faces, between those who came up in the grind era, playing in half-filled gyms, a little no fanfare, and those who walked into the league with cameras, endorsement deals, and expectations. There's a culture clash happening, but behind the scenes, and it's not being managed well. Instead of uniting under the shared goal, building something together, the league that the spotlight drive a wedge between players. Veterans feel disrespected, rookies feel isolated, and the fans, they're stuck in the middle of a drama that bleeding into the product. That truth is, people came for Caitlin, but they would have stayed for the league, and the league given them a reason. But what if fans get instead star player sidelined by injuries that look preventable, sloppy, inconsistent officiating that kills any momentum mid-game, a broadcast package that looks like it was designed on a high school AV club budget, teams with no marketing, no storylines, no visible personalities. There's so much talent in the WNBA, you only spotlight one storyline, the rest of the lead become background noise. And when that storyline collapses, boom, the entire narrative goes with it. And let's just talk the optics for a second, because a visual of half-empty arena while broadcasters try to sell us on record-breaking excitement is embarrassing. Every time they pin the camera just right to hide the empty upper bowl, every time they cut away from a player interview when the seat behind them look like an abandoned food court, it doesn't inspire confidence, it inspires doubt. And fans feel that, sponsors feel that, even casual viewers flipping through channels feel that. And that's when the most dangerous thought creeps in: is this league legit? That one little question, it's enough to unravel everything, because once people start doubting your legitimacy, it's really hard to get them back. You can just market your way out of that kind of skepticism. You can't throw an Instagram graphic at it. You have to fix it at the root. And that means stop pretending everything is okay. Stop propping up fake numbers to save face. Stop treating criticism like treason. Start making real decisions, like investing in actual broadcast talent, like hiring marketing teams who know how to tell stories, like hiring full-time RAF and holding them accountable, like putting the game first and letting the narratives follow. Because right now the league is doing the opposite. They're try and protect the narrative at the expense of the game. And that's a losing strategy. You can't gaslight your fan base and expect loyalty. You can't tell the league is thriving while they sit in half-empty stadiums. You can't silence criticism. One product on the floor looks like a preseason scrimmage. At some point the spin as a stop and the substance as the start. So let's wrap this all up in one brutal undone.